Welcome back to SEL TV Live. I'm Christina Shields, and I'm here with Anle from the Opera Theater of St. Louis. Hey, An, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for being here today. We have so much to talk about.
We do.
Let's first start off with the Opera Theater itself.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Opera Theater of St. Louis?
Yeah, Opera Theater of St. Louis is a really fantastic, internationally acclaimed opera festival that is held every summer in St. Louis, usually for about 6 weeks from the end of May through the end of June. We do 4 productions a year. They're all done in English, which is very unique for an American opera company. And they are usually, they feature the best of both young talent who have yet to make a name for themselves and people who have started off here and have come back and are now international stars.
Great.
So we really pride ourselves on not only putting on great productions, but also on finding really talented young singers and nurturing them and developing them into really top-notch artists.
Great. Now, when you say that they're all of the operas are in English, are they translated, or how does that work?
Yeah, so they're translated. Sometimes we will find older translations that were done, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and use those, and we license those from whoever owns the copyrights. Sometimes we do commission new translations for pieces to make them less outdated and to really bring them into the modern language. But we really believe that opera should be accessible for all audiences. It shouldn't be hard to understand.
It makes the opera newbie, a little less intimidated.
Exactly. And if there is not a song, but there is a spoken dialogue between 2 parts of a song, it's really great for the audience to hear that in their own language and to be able to get the jokes immediately and not have to read them on a screen.
Right.
So we do offer super titles so people can read along in case they can't catch the speed of the words in an aria, but we also do perform everything in English, and that's part of our mission.
That's great, and everyone's talking about Opera Theater St. Louis and coming here all over the world, right?
Yeah, we have visitors from as far as Saudi Arabia and London and Paris, so it's a really, really diverse audience every year.
That's great. Now, speaking of this year, tell us about the season and when does it start, and we'll go through a few of the productions.
Great. Yeah, so the first production of the season is The Magic Flute, which is a classic family story written by Mozart. We're starting that on May 24th, and it is being directed by fashion icon Isaac Mizrahi.
Right, and he was here a few months ago.
Right, and he did a few events at the Contemporary Art Museum and some other places and spoke to audiences about his designs for the Magic Flute, which are really gorgeous. They are a mix of whimsy and Hollywood and glamour and fun, and it's just going to be a visually and also acoustically stunning performance.
Right.
We have some really talented performers, including Sean Panikar. He's the tenor playing the lead role of the Prince Tamino, and he actually came in 4th with his group Forte on America's Got Talent.
Great, I was going to say he looks very familiar.
A lot of America
is
has
he
seen
from
him.
St. Louis, or where is he from?
He is not from St. Louis, but he actually got one of his starts in opera was with Opera Theater of St. Louis.
Great.
He was one of our young artists, and he's now coming back to do a title role, which is great. Yeah.
Isaac, when he talked, he seemed like he had so much fun creating.
He does.
He's actually producing it as well as
he has designed the
director?
costumes, designed the sets, and he's directed the production. Wow. It's very rare for someone to do all 3 roles, and it's incredibly time-consuming. So we are obviously very appreciative to Isaac for clearing time in his schedule to come here and do this. But we love working with him. He did a very successful production of A Little Night Music back in 2010. So it's a thrill to have him in St. Louis once again.
That's great. Moving on to our next production.
Sure. The next production is The Elixir of Love, which is by Donizetti. It was written in the 1800s, but it's a really, really delightful romantic comedy that still holds up today. And it's essentially about a young man who finds out that the love of his life is betrothed to someone else, but he's so shy that he can't approach her. So he instead decides to buy an aphrodisiac and drinks this potion he buys from a traveling salesman. It turns out to just be a bottle of wine. Oh, wow. But after a bottle of wine, you have a little bit of liquid courage in you, and he ends up, going after the girl, and it's really lovely. It's delightful. Oh, wow. We're even doing a special date night promotion so people can come. Great. 2 tickets for the price of, if you buy 2, you get 1 50% off, and we're offering even a complimentary scoop of gelato after one of the performances. It's a really fun evening and a really fun production.
And who are some of the main actors and singers in that one?
So the lead role for a man is being sung by a tenor named Rene Barbera, who just won the Operalia competition, which is hosted by Placido Domingo, who's a very famous tenor in his own right. And he is singing Nemorino, which is the name of the man. And the woman's role will be played by Susanna Biller, who is making her opera theater debut this season, but is just a fantastic soprano and a lovely actress and also just a lovely person.
We have so much to talk so much more coming up with the productions and to talk about. So stay right here. You guys stay right there. We'll be right back with more of Opera Theater St. Louis right after this.